here with Indiana State football coach Mike Sanford. Mike, first of all, I wanted to talk to you about some of the younger guys that have contributed, especially on the defensive side. And you had a core of veterans coming in, and they've been reliable. But you also have guys like Rondell Green, Lionel Brown Jr., a few others that have stepped up and contributed in their own right. Let's talk about how important their contribution's been.
Oh, that's huge. The young guys coming in and playing has been tremendous, and that's been like a shot in the arm to our defense. And I think we have some really good experienced players. We have some really good players that have a little bit of experience, but then we have some young guys that have really stepped up, and those guys have been very valuable.
When you look at Rondell and Lionel specifically, what do you like about what those guys bring to the table? Lionel's been good rushing the passer this year. Rondell is, kind of back there, in kind of a, I don't want to say a hybrid role, but he kind of can do a lot of things back where he's playing. Just talk about those guys specifically and what they've done to help out.
Well, first of all, Rondell is a really good athlete. He's playing our nickel position, which he kind of plays an outside linebacker sometimes, a defensive back sometimes, plays man coverage sometimes, rushes sometimes, does all kinds of things. And he's been very reliable. He's a very smart football player. He's very dependable. Lionel Brown has been, I think, a real positive surprise as a pass rusher. He has a knack. There's certain guys that have a knack for blitzing, and he has a knack for it. He finds a way to get through there, get in there, and make tackles. He's hit some quarterbacks and caused some havoc in there.
When it comes to using Lionel, are you just using him purely in blitz situations, or are you using him a little bit more than that?
No, he's being used in a variety of different ways. It's just that he's shown up in some of those blitz situations because he's made plays.
Moving on to the game this weekend, Missouri State. One thing they do well is the same thing you guys do well. They force turnovers. You guys are 1-2 in the league. I think they're third nationally behind you guys, of course. And just talk about obviously protecting the ball, which is something you guys have done very well this season, is paramount when you got a team that has some of the same characteristics defensively as you do.
Yeah, I think a huge thing in this game, because of the fact that both teams are very good at getting turnovers and not turning the ball over. Our thought is we need to win the turnover battle. That's a huge thing. We've got to protect the football, and we've got to get turnovers, and we've got to get takeaways from them. And I think that's a huge thing in this game, is winning the turnover battle. And I think that's been our deal all year, but not, just because it's been our deal all year doesn't mean you just assume it. It's something you've got to make happen.
We've talked a lot about forcing turnovers. Avoidance of turnovers on the other side of the ball is something we've talked about mostly with regard to Mike, but your turnover numbers in terms of offensively have been strong regardless. There's been a few fumbles, but not many. Just talk about how obviously important protecting the ball on the offensive side has been too.
Yeah, that's huge. We've got to be able to protect the ball. We work hard on it. We've emphasized it from day one. We carry the ball what we call high and tight, where we carry the ball up high and high and tight. In other words, we want the front tip of the ball up in the air, and that's got to be the case all the time. One of the things about turnovers in this game is they've gotten some critical turnovers when people were going in to score. That has won some games for them, and we've got to be able to finish drives and not allow what's happened before, because they've been really good at that. We've got to finish drives, and I think they've had. I know they've had several fumbles or interceptions that have happened where they're backed up on the 5-yard line or 2-yard line.
What do you do to kind of keep Kiara Harris in check? He's pretty versatile. He can run a little bit, and they've thrown the ball, relatively well. What's the key to keeping him under wraps?
Well, the number one thing is we've got to execute. Each guy's got to do his job. The second thing is we've got to tackle. He's a slippery guy. He's athletic. We got to tackle. We got to tackle him. We got to tackle their backs. That's critical. And then in the passing game, we've got to execute. We can't allow any big plays down the field.
You're facing a lot of teams now that are, and Missouri State's the first of them, that are in win or else mode, basically. And not that you guys can afford to relax and, take a loss yourselves, but how dangerous is a team that's kind of backed into a corner as Missouri State is coming into this game this week?
I think they're very dangerous. They're like they're like a wounded animal that's in the corner, and and their backs are against the wall. But we kind of feel like that the same way about ourselves. We're in no different. We feel like we're in a this is a playoff to get into the playoffs for us. We've got to win every game, and this game this week is critical. We got to be 1-0 this week.
All right, thanks a lot, Mike.